Disclaimer. Just like a really big disclaimer. So, before I begin the video, I need to make a couple of things clear. I love the Theorist channels, and I'm still going to watch them after this video. I really just made this as a way to give a couple of suggestions to MatPat for the immediate and long-term plans he might have. So, no, I'm not hating because I hate fashion. Some of the stuff I saw on the channel was actually really interesting. But I do think there are some wasted opportunities that Style Theory has. With all that said though, let's start the video.
After all these years, finally, we have them all. It's working! Here we go.
Hello Internet, and welcome to Theory, the only show that isn't ashamed to do parodies of other famous YouTube channels. As you know, leader of the Theorist clan MatPat just finished the demented Simon Says of YouTube channels with the channel Style Theory, a place where science meets fashion. And I have a few issues with this channel, and the Theorist group as a whole. So join me, my friends, as I discuss my problems with Style Theory and give some feedback about some of the issues with the Theorist channels as a whole. So to begin, let's start with some background by taking a look at the pre-Style Theory Theorist landscape. We had Game Theory, the OG talking about all things games. The next logical step, of course, was movies, naturally taken with Film Theory. Then we had Food Theory, a weird but fitting step. The main channels worked great, but something was looming on the horizon, the new Theorist channel. We started getting hints about what would eventually become Style Theory. We knew something that had the color scheme of blue was coming, but not when. The hype was real, especially because of all the fan ideas, which were difficult to come up with because the three channels we had so far worked so well with each other. Any ideas the fans had one of two issues. It would either 1, not seem like something that could go on forever, or 2, be in areas the other channels covered. And that's what made this Theorist channel a real struggle to figure out. Then, in January, we found out about the acquisition of Theorist Inc. And let's just say this is when things got interesting. I myself happen to have a few questions about the acquisition, and more than a few things I think Matt could have done differently. Of course, that is a whole nother can of worms to get into, and I happen not to like worms, specifically the canned variety. Pushing the worms aside though, Matt also announced that he partially did this so he could devote some resources to the 4th Theorist channel, and the internet ran rampant with this. So many videos discussing the direction this channel could go, most ideas falling into the common pitfalls that I mentioned earlier. Then we had that interview with MatPat where he revealed this information.
There, like already people have dissected that the new color is blue.
Okay.
And that the initials are ST.
This hype was crazy, and I was excited to see where this was going. With this new information, more channel ideas than ever sprang out onto the internet, and Matt kept dropping hints into theories. It was exciting! Then we got the channel announcement, Style Theory, and it was disappointing, to say the least. I'm a rare breed of people called a high school guy. I don't care about how I look or fashion, I just want to wear clothing. So seeing something called Style Theory, which was all about fashion, was disheartening. Out of all the options and ideas Matt had, which were way more interesting and exciting than clothing, he chose this. Of course, I'm not dogging on Style Theory just on first impressions. I've watched some of the videos, and I will admit it, Matt definitely knew what he was doing going into this, and I've enjoyed his clothing theories so far. But there are some very apparent issues that need to be discussed. As such, let's talk about my problems with Style Theory. In order to find problems, we must first see the things that could potentially contain the issue. We have a video about poison makeup, small women's pockets, murder shoes, and math affecting beauty. Now, these videos are all fine. It's the next one I have problems with. The last video the channel launched with is about the Incredible Hulk's pants. So what's the problem with that? Well, it's my proof that the channel's fate is sealed. So I got a quick question for you. Have you heard of this really small, under the radar little channel called Film Theory? Well, it's this channel that talks about lore and puts practical real world science into movies. And guess what? Hulk is a film character. And here's another shocker. The Hulk Pants Theory episode is a rebranded Film Theory. What's the problem with that? So it's a rebranded Film Theory, what's so important? Well, let me tell you. This just shows that there isn't enough content tailored specifically for style theory in existence. I've listened to MatPat's comments about it on the GT Live he did, and I know what's gonna happen to this channel. The fashion industry is a slower industry, only having a couple of major events in a year. And innovation is even slower there than it is in films. So in about a year and a half, I guarantee that style theory will be exclusively rebranded film theories, considering that the fashion industry only has a couple of major events in a year, and that science moves slow, which only gives MatPat so much he can actually talk about. Matt also has just no consistency in his videos, and even if you were to say that fictional characters' clothing is style theory exclusive content, then why did Film Theory get one on the Batman's clothes the same week as Style Theory's launch? Sure, I have no clue what MatPat has planned for this channel, and it's quite possible I'm completely wrong, but the fact that I'm even having these thoughts is worth some analysis. Let's go back to the original premise of game theory after it became MatPat's full-time job. He wanted it to be a fun way to introduce how cool science can be to people, a simpler way to learn while still talking about video games and stuff. But when it comes to fashion, how do you do that? Science and art can sometimes mix, but it usually can't. Art is something subjective, and when you mix it with something as objective as science, things aren't gonna go well. So let's forget what I said about the rebranded film theories for a minute. Even if there is a lot more theory potential than I thought, well, it's still stepping away from the science aspect. Sure, going into new directions is a great idea sometimes, but I don't think it's gonna work well in this case, as we need science episodes as much as other kinds of episodes. Otherwise, the content will get stale. But honestly, these are just my thoughts and opinions on style theory. Or in layman's terms, that's just a theory. A theory. Thanks for watching. But I don't want to end the video quite yet, as there are some suggestions and other things I want to throw out while I still have your attention. For starters, I've begun to notice how Matt can just kind of draw whatever conclusions he wants out of a hat because he can cherry pick evidence. Very few people are actually going to have the interest to go and research to see if he's mistaken or missed an important detail. I'm not saying MatPat is intentionally doing this, but it's something I've observed. You can see it especially in theories such as the Hollow Knight theory and a couple of others. So, I have a proposition. For every story, there's a second side to it. Same goes for arguments or theories. So, in your research, find some counterpoints and have head editor Dan or Chris or someone else with a more pessimistic personality insert themselves and give counterpoints. This will make the theories more reputable, as it's a lot harder to cherry pick evidence when you have to come up with counter-arguments for them, and it'll also make the theories more interesting to watch. Sure, it's gonna take more time to develop those theories, but isn't that why you sold Theorist Inc? Finally, we need to talk about MatPat's overanalysis stuff. Yes, I know, he likes to play it as a gag, but his theories have power and they will ruin the show, meme, or whatever else he's talking about. Yes, this is mostly inspired off the Waffle House theory. The new host's meme's point was that there was no point. It was just kind of a stupid internet go brr sort of meme. And Matt kind of ruined the meme with that video just by using it as an excuse to talk about Shaggy, Norville, William Afton, whatever his name is nowadays. So just be careful about what content you put in your content, MatPat. So that's my little TED talk about the Theorist channels. And apologies for some of the information being outdated or the arguments already being proven wrong. This video has been in production for over 4 weeks now, I think. Ever since the week of the channel launch, I started writing this video, and it's just been on the back burners for a while with other projects. But what do you think of the Theorist channels and of style theory? Was I too harsh on MatPat, and should I just be happy about getting 4 videos now every weekend? Well, let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.